My name is Belinda Wasser, also known as RocketGirl. Today, we're going to talk about how to be easy to work with. When you're a virtual assistant, one of the most important things, I think, is to make it easy for your clients to work with you. I gave it some thought, and I really think that a large part of my success as a virtual assistant for the past 10 years has been exactly that. And so today I'm going to give you 3 examples on how to make it easy for your clients to work with you. All right, so one thing I want to say before we dive in is I routinely adopt my clients' preferences. Now, that is different from doing something that I don't agree with. So in these examples, what I want you to see is that, you know, it's one of those things where I can do it easy for them or easy for me, but it's not that much of a big deal for me that it's the benefits far outweigh making it easier on my clients. All right, so let's talk about credit card numbers. My clients give me their credit card numbers pretty often because they want me to buy software, they want me to buy stock photography, you know, they want me to set an account up for them with something. And so I have seen where some VAs are very strict and they say, here's my credit card form. I want you to fill it out and fax it to me, or, you know, scan it or something. And while I think that that's fine, it does give, it doesn't really put the client first in a way that I think can work. So when a client asks me, how can I give you my credit card? I say, however it's easiest for you. So I have some clients who will email me their credit card number, which I don't necessarily recommend. And I will warn them, say, I'm not sure how safe that is. You know, maybe we can try it a different way. I have had other clients take pictures of their credit card front and back and text it to me. I have had clients want me to write it down in the moment in my notebook, which I do. So the point here is that I don't want to put any kind of extra step into any of the work for my clients. All right, so that's a really simple example is credit card numbers. Let's talk about passwords. Passwords are something else that that clients need to give me. Now, some of them they'll shoot me an email with the password. Some of them will text me the password. You know, all of these different ways that it can come in. Some of my clients have a LastPass account, and they share it with me that way. The key here again is that when a client says, "How do you want me to send my password to you?" I say, "What's easiest for you?" And they usually have, you know, they usually have a preferred way. Then what I do is I put it in my LastPass account. Now I could say to them, you know, I need you to open a LastPass account because that's what I use, and I need to put your credit cards in there because this would be a best practice. And then I need you to share it with me so that I can keep them. I would lose probably 2/3 or more of my clients if I asked them to do that because they're just not technical enough for the most part to be able to do that. Now they have their passwords and they give them to me, but adding that extra step would just make it too difficult for them. So that's how I handle passwords. So I have a LastPass account and I have all of their passwords neatly tucked in there so that I can find them and even give them back to them because some of my clients lose their own passwords, but I have them. Document format. This is one that I get kind of tripped up on sometimes because this is where the most struggle is for me. There are clients that use all different formats. Some clients use Pages, some use Word, some use a Google Doc, and depending on where I'm taking the text that's in this document and where I'm putting it next, some wacky things happen. So for example, I have a client who puts her newsletter into a Google Doc. When I take that and I put it into MailChimp, if I copy and paste directly from the Google Doc into MailChimp, it breaks her template. It's a much longer story, and don't even ask me how I finally figured it out. But that happens. What happens is there's like lines all over the template. There are other clients that when I copy and paste, it takes the style sheet with it and puts it into Constant Contact. So there are extra steps that I've learned to take that only take a couple of minutes. So for example, when I take my client who likes to write her newsletter in Google Docs or in a Google Doc, I just copy and paste it into a text editor or a Word document, and then I grab the text and I put it into MailChimp, and there's no problem. So that extra step maybe takes an extra 5 minutes, but here's the thing. With that particular client, the reason they want to use a Google Doc is because she's collaborating. So she's writing the document, she has an intern that's working on it, then there's an editor. And so it's really for their convenience that this happens. And I understand that. So what I don't want to say to her is, can you please put that in a Word document and, and make sure that I get it in the format that's going to be the fastest for me. It's really what's convenient for her. So you can see in all of these cases, it might take me a little bit longer. And some of the steps, I'm like, it's a little frustrating at times, especially before I figure out the workaround. But once I have the workaround, what happens is it makes me so much smarter about how to work with not only different clients, but now I know that Google Docs and MailChimp are not compatible, and you want to take that extra step. So that kind of makes me smarter too. So those are just 3 examples of how to be easy to work with. So another one that comes to mind is if a client sends me information and I have some questions, I really take a minute and I make sure it's a quiet minute, without people talking to me or the radio. See how old I am? Well, I guess the radio still exists, but not in my office. Pandora. I listen to Pandora. I really break down what the questions are. So that I'm not just sort of, hitting this email back like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have specific questions. And I also take time to read my emails again before I send them to the client and take words like it, I sent it to you, and say, okay, well, if I'm reading this and I'm not in my own brain, what is it? So I'll fill in the blanks, or instead of, so it would be, I sent it to you last week. I could say, I sent the Word document about X, Y, and Z to you last week. Or I could even say on the day. So I try to make it easy to work with, right? So I found that by doing this, people actually say she's so easy to work with. And we're here to pave the path, right? To pave the way for our clients' success. So think about some ways that you can make it easier for your clients. And I bet they're going to notice. So before we go, I just want to remind all of you about my free online classroom. It's called the Virtual Assistant Connection, and we are on Facebook. So right now we're streaming on Facebook in three different locations, but we're also on Periscope and on YouTube. So click that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, so you'll be notified every time we're going to go live. I'd love to have you. So anyway, if you'd like to join us, you just type the Virtual Assistant Connection at the top of Facebook, click the join button, and I would love to welcome you in. Lots of videos, lots of information, fabulous community. We're at over 12,000 members, which is very, very exciting, and I'd love to have you be part of that. I'm Belinda Wasser, signing off. Until next time, bye-bye.